What's up, everyone? This is Tom, Bear Pigman. I got my buddy Max here. We're going to be
Hello.
playing Illusion of Gaia. This is one of my favorite games out there, probably second only to Earthbound. And, Max, you might be wondering why... Does this logo remind you of anything?
You know, the font looks vaguely familiar. It looks actually really close to Zelda.
That is right. That is because, as you see on the bottom there, it says licensed to Nintendo. Nintendo did not produce every version of this game. It only did it for North America and a couple of Europe ones. In Japan, the title screen is completely different. When they decided to bring it over to North America, Nintendo said, hey, this game is very much like Zelda. Let's make it look as close to the Link to the Past logo as possible. Including, as you pointed out, the divots in the G look just like the divots in the C on Zelda.
They do. Yeah, it really. Yeah, they didn't really pull back on that.
No,
it looks almost the same.
It took me years to realize that. So yeah, this game made by Enix, one of the Quentin Enix trilogy games, Soul Blazer, which you played.
I'm playing that
not.
right now. Yeah, I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and I really like it. It's really simple, but also really unique because, you know, you're going through these dungeons, and for every little bit that you do, you're rescuing people and basically recreating the world that you're living on. Because at the point when you start, there's almost nothing. Like, you know, there's a village, but there's nothing populating that village. There are things that are not there. But as you make your way through the dungeon, you know, you get more people and more things, and it was really cool. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and this was a spiritual sequel to that, where pretty much this is the world that was rebuilt in Soul Blazer, and after this there was Terranigma, which begins with the destruction of this world and bringing it back after that. I still have to play it myself. I've heard a lot of people say it's the best, but for me, this was the one I played the most of.
I didn't realize it was. So this actually is that same world that at the end of Soul Blazer. This is the same one.
Pretty much. I believe Gaia, who's like, you know, the mentor of this game, Gaia is in Soul Blazer. There's a couple of enemies that are directly from Soul Blazer in this one.
Oh.
But the interesting thing about this game to me is nearly every temple in this game it's based on a real world, like Angkor Wat or the Incan ruins.
Oh, that's cool.
And I mean, the music is just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, no, this makes me nostalgic for 90s JRPGs and just all the great music that came out of those games.
Yep. The file select screen here is the map, and you go all across this map.
Nice.
Interesting thing enough, the person who composed the music for this later went on to do Cooking Mama.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So, it says here school. It's supposed to be Sunday school, but Nintendo doesn't like religion.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That's right, man. Back when they had to change all the crosses, and I think it
was actually supposed to be a cross in this. I think they made it a statue.
Oh, they did.
Yep. So you were in South Cape, which is supposed to be the Cape of the World in South Africa.
Oh.
You'll see things are all over the place. Yeah, you can see the statue where there's supposed to be a cross indentation right there.
I see that right there on the lower part.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you're supposed to be in Sunday school with your 4 friends. One thing I really liked right off the bat is they had different color text for every person talking.
I like that a lot too.
So
those
yeah,
small touches really matter.
Yeah, it really does.
Because it's kind of like when, you know, I know Zelda still does it, but whenever they have like a highlighted word to sort of emphasize this is an important thing.
Yeah, he says right there, by the way, also, please recite with me. It's supposed to be let's pray.
Oh, really? that makes way more sense.
So yeah, you can go straight to the cliffside, or you can go check out the town, but you can't leave because demons are around.
Right.
So
you know, I'm looking at this town now, and actually, the layout with the cliffside, it's very reminiscent of one of the. It looks like one of the earlier parts of Soul Blazer, one of the earlier areas you're in.
You'll definitely see a lot of that in here. So yeah, you tap, double tap left or right to run. It actually works its way into fighting too.
Really?
Which actually makes Will one of the better characters to fight, even though he has shit range.
Oh wow! Oh,
so
my God.
yeah, it begins here when you find the dark space.
Oh, that's so cool.
So Gaia will guide you on your journey. You talk to her to save, restore health. Later on, she gives you powers.
Okay.
Only Will can see it, which we'll talk about it later on. But because they get on the whole only Will can see it, I thought, oh, this is gonna be another JRPG where a guy keeping secrets from all of his friends. This game breaks a lot of JRPG conventions, like pretty much every one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm already liking the palette used in this game. It
yeah,
looks so pretty.
So there are red jewels hidden throughout the entire world. It's the only side quest in the entire game.
Really?
Yep.
So this is actually an incredibly linear game.
Yeah, this is about as linear as you can get.
Nice.
So this is all your friends' houses are here, and they manage to tell you a lot about people in this town without really beating you over the head with it. Like Seth is your purple-haired friend there, and you go into his house, and his family is like, they're fighting, which is like one of the first times I've actually like ever seen like,
domestic disturbance in a
game. in a children's video game.
Wow.
But without telling you anything about Seth, they've already told you a lot about him just by that fact.
That's right.
And Lance, as she's saying here, so basically, they hinted it very early in the beginning, but basically Will, his father, and Lance's father went to the Tower of Babel years ago. They lost. There's 3 red gems in this town. That's the second one. The third one is the hardest to get in the entire game. I got really lucky, but we'll get to that when it does. So Lance's dad and Will's dad both vanished in the tower. Will woke up outside of it with no memory of what happened in the tower or what happened to his parents, but he had psychic powers.
Like he gained psychic powers?
Yeah, they'll talk about that in a little bit. But, Lance had to deal with his dad's death, pretty much.
Oh.
So this is Eric's house. He is the wealthiest person in town. He's not. They got the biggest house in town because they were the first people in town. I can't believe that's how it fucking works, but that's how it works in this.
Is that... What's going on there? She's steaming something or something on fire?
She's steaming her back.
Oh.
I got confused at that too when I was a kid. So really, with the exception of the 2 red gems, there's not a whole lot in exploring the town, but you get a nice sense of home by doing so.
Yeah.
Like in Final Fantasy games, or Zelda, you're exploring to get rupees and items and stuff. With this, it's really the sense of adventure.
I really like that. I think a lot of games nowadays, I mean, granted this is an old game, but I think a lot of games nowadays feel like they need to push in as much stuff as they possibly can, and sometimes that can produce this sort of lack of focus on where you want to go. And so it's like, and it might, I mean, this already feels like, oh, I want to go to this world.
Okay, quickly, we passed by, but he said as he was going in, the smell of the pie that Grandma Lola's making smells great. They will not shut the fuck up about her pie.
No.
This is like first of like 5 times I think in this video that they mention it. But yeah, no, they really drive the sense of like home, your hometown really early on, and considering most of your friends do join you for the majority of your trip, I remember in the later parts of this game, because you can't come back here.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah, you can only go to specific parts of like each world. Like when you leave a continent, you can't go back.
Oh.
So I just remembered always kind of wanting to come back and visit this town because I had my friends with me.
Right.
Like in just 10 minutes, they managed to tell you so much about your friends and the town you live in.
Well, I really I dig that. keeping it short, but also doing a lot with very little.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Uh-oh. I think this is about the point where I stopped. Well, actually, I had made it to where you're about to go, and then I had stopped.
Yeah, this has a kind of a slow beginning.
Yeah.
But when it picks up, it really picks up.
Absolutely.
I kind of like that he rushes in. It's, you know, there's always the MacGuffin that starts off every JRPG, and they're kind of just like, oh, is that all? Poor Seth.
Oh my god.
So yeah, this is how they kind of teaching you a couple of things about Will here. Kind of showing that his psychic powers here. You hold L or R to do that. He basically spins his flute.
Oh.
And it comes really in handy during combat, but it can also move blocks. Now with this, no matter which one you pick, it's always going to be the Ace of Diamonds.
It's just to show
Will's
that character.
That he has psychic powers. His friends are very, none of them are really, they're speechless, but no one really, like, questions them. I kind of like that. Like, he says, yeah, it's like an extra sense.
Right.
As opposed to, oh, he's a wizard, let's ostracize him.
Like, they're just along for the ride in that sense, which is, I really like that, too.
Yeah, they either don't care or, you know, they're very accepting of him, and I like that.
Rather than the tired trope of, you know, like, oh my god, we're scared of you.
Yeah. So, what I do here, basically, you saw I was talking to a fisherman outside before. There's a 1 in 50, he basically moves as 3 points on that pier throughout the game.
Oh.
And there's a 1 in 50 shot that he will be right outside, like I run here, I want to show the 3 places he could be. I only managed to get 1. I was planning on cutting this footage down significantly because it usually takes about, upwards of 15 minutes to get it.
Right.
I got really lucky and got it on about my, 5th try.
Huh.
But this is the only time in the entire game that you can get the 3rd gem.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like I said, because you can't come back, if you miss this red gem, you miss out on, I got it on my 6th try. So this is the only time in the game you can get this red jewel.
Oh my gosh, you could really freaking miss that.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about the red jewels. Now that I have every one of them here.
Yeah, what are these?
So,
by the way, I just want to say, this is gorgeous.
Isn't it fucking beautiful?
This is like,
So, one thing this game does to break JRPG conventions, if you don't have money, you can't buy items.
Really?
The red jewels are about the closest thing you have to money in this game. The red jeweler, he's in every town under disguise. So I passed by him before, but this is the jeweler gem. He's in every town, and depending on how many red jewels you have, he will give you stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay, so like just special items.
Special items, power, upgrades, and if you get all 50 of them, you get an extra dungeon.
Oh man, that's an incentive.
Yeah.
That's really a cool incentive.
So when you give him the gems, you can either pick them from the item and use them, and it'll like spin around in a circle. It's a really cool animation. Or you can just talk to him and he'll take all of them at once. But yeah, you see here like strength, psycho power.
My secrets.
My secrets is an optional dungeon.
Huh.
But if you miss one gem,
you
can screw yourself out of it.
How hard is it to collect the other gems?
Very. Especially because I said you can't come back to continents. So if you miss like the ones in South Cape, they're gone forever.
Are some as obscure as the fisherman?
Some are obscure as fuck.
Wow.
So this is my favorite character in the entire game. This is motherfucking Hamlet. He is the pet pig of a character we're just about to meet. He is fucking adorable, and he has the most badass scene in the game, which I am not even going to come close to dare spoiling. But yeah, Hamlet is the man. So yeah, you come home and all of a sudden there's a girl and her pig. And she's a little bit of a bitch.
Oh.
Just a little bit of a bitch.
A little shabby, huh? He looks stupid.
I said Olmec before, I meant to say Ullman. I kind of like this too. There's like a little bit of characterization for Will where she's like, aren't you sad that your parents are dead? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was sad.
Yeah, rather than just going, I never forgot it. I'll never forget.
Will kind of feels like a real person.
Yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned the color palette before. I love his colors. You rarely see blue and yellow.
Yeah. Those are two, like, really striking, like together. Like, he stands out amongst everything, but he doesn't look,
overpowering.
He doesn't look, extremely flamboyant either, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just like, he just looks like he pops out a lot. Which, obviously, in a video game, you want your main character to pop out.
Yep. And all of a sudden, a scream from downstairs, and now we can also hear the battle music.
God, really cooking, Mama? That's...
Yep.
Oh. That's right.
It's pretty obvious, but... I also kind of like this. They don't make the soldiers, like, really bad guys. They're like...
doing the job.
Yeah. She is resisting as hard as she possibly can.
What are you doing, Hamlet? Come on.
I also love that his grandparents took her, like, were really quick to take her in and, like, yeah, random girl came by, but we're singing. And then she gets taken away by soldiers, and he goes, oh, yeah, practical joke.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, your grandfather designed a viaduct under the castle, which is, spoilers, the first dungeon.
I used to be an architect.
A maze to keep prisoners from escaping. Which, a lot of people died in. But enough of that shit. Let's eat pie again. By the way, I don't think there's a table upstairs. You're at the only table. I point out here, the herb, because you can't buy anything, they're in very limited supply.
Oh, so you really want to use them sparingly?
Yeah. So, snail pie. I think there's like 2 other kinds of pies in this game.
Oh.
I just like that they give you a little bit of time to, like, get a feel for the world before they all of a sudden throw the plot in at you.
Right, yeah. It's good pacing. Like... Bring the crystal ring.
Yeah, King Edward is an asshole.
Oh.
Yeah, melodies actually play a part in this game, too.
They do.
Very little, but I think there's about 3 different melodies that you learn. And they're all equipable items.
Interesting. Do they just promote certain status effects or buffs?
No, they're used for story purposes, but, like how you can equip the herb as your item, or the red jewel.
Oh, okay.
All the melodies are equipable items.
Huh.
Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah. Sounds like Ocarina of Time owes something to this game.
Interestingly enough, it steals a little bit from Zelda. Zelda steals a little bit from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, before leaving, I just checked to see if anyone in town says anything different I believe the only people who say anything different are your friends in the cave.
Okay.
Which I really didn't even know they said, some different text until I started researching stuff to, for this Let's Play.
Huh. Do you never see any of these people again?
We'll see soon enough. And we'll also take this opportunity now, because it's about 20 minutes in. We will continue this in the next episode of Let's Play Illusion of Gaia.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.